Just imagine you're a tiny butterfly in a small cocoon. You have no idea what the outside world looks like, no idea how it operates. But as soon as you come out, a whole new world is gaping at you, full of wonder and amazement, just waiting for you to experience, learn, and grow. That was me a few years ago. My cocoon, Singapore. A place where I am being born and raised all 15 years of my life. And to be honest, it was all I ever knew. A tiny island so small, in a way it reflected how narrow my perspective of the world was. As a young child, my expectations of the world were set so high that I was in an illusion that other places would match that Singaporean standard. This little book that has been with me since my first time on a plane, a travel diary. Something that I hold very dear to my heart. What I'm very grateful for is how my parents have inculcated a habit of writing down how we feel when we discover new places. Now I'll read an excerpt of one of my most adventurous, memorable holidays, Sri Lanka. After quickly changing, I treated myself to delicious breakfast spread at the hotel while we birdwatched in the garden. Then, after resting, we decided to go to Lover's Leap waterfall. First, the Odos, which is South Asia's most common way to travel, went up a steep, rickety path. It was so scary. I clinged on to Mum as I shut my eyes in fear. Those were the longest 7 minutes of my life. I'm sure 10-year-old me must have been feeling extremely grateful that we don't have to go up hills in vehicles that have no doors in Singapore. I feel like raw thoughts and feelings like these are so important to look back on. The lessons you have learned from the new experiences you have taken on, and reliving those moments in life is what makes traveling so important for growth, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. Singapore is the epitome of racial harmony. Wow, how is Singapore so diverse? That's all I hear from tourists. After living here for so long, I guess I've gotten used to dealing with people of different races on a daily basis. Let's do an activity. Look to your left and right. Do you see at least one person of a different race than you? Have you ever talked to that person once or twice? Or are even friends with them? Exactly. I was so used to that, but was in for a shock when I went elsewhere. In Austria, my family, a group of 4 people, stood in an empty lift which could fit at least 10 more. But when the lift opened on a floor to an old German couple, they refused to get in the lift. I dismissed it as, oh, maybe they were just waiting for someone. That was the little Singaporean in me. Maybe I would never know what was the real reason they did not get into the lift with us was. But I certainly had an idea after thinking about it. It finally cracked my mindset of a racially sound world. A perfect world, but a fake world. I always thought that all cultures celebrate racial diversity as much as we do here in Singapore. But the question, of course, is whether they do. A strong reality check that our assumptions may differ from reality. And the only way to gain that difficult acceptance was to see it or experience it firsthand. This left an indelible impression on me as more travels followed. Curiosity sparked in me as I not only started to observe more contrast between the world and my Singaporean mindset, but more importantly, questioning them. Let me give you another example of how not just the big things, but personally, the everydayness of a society shows deeper facets of itself in the little observations. I bet I can guess the majority of your after-school schedules. Is it go home, chill for a while, then study till the wee hours? A cycle, on repeat, 5 days a week, 40-ish school weeks a year. That's what I thought happened elsewhere too. But I remember, I was out on a boat ride in Australia when I saw distant figures scattered in one corner across the lake. I thought to myself, what is going on? But as the boat came closer, I heard screams of thrill, laughs filling the air. Across the globe, 3 years later, as the world gets even busier, seeing dads enjoying picnics with friends while watching their children chase after birds in the park on a warm Wednesday afternoon in San Diego. It was taboo to me to see kids, teenagers like us, and working adults too, all enjoying themselves in the evening on a weekday. A weekday! The day where I used to dread coming home to do my daily routine. But here I was, seeing them enjoying themselves after a long day. This made me think, why was staying cooped up at home for hours studying a norm? Or even an everyday expectation? But not just through the week. This exhausting routine stretches through the weekends, full of tuitions and enrichment classes. Does our society even stop to think, how is time passing by? This moment really shaped my mindset to value time with things that truly matter. Whenever you have the opportunity to travel, take it. Take the opportunity to observe the good and the bad, how different people go about their daily lives. At the end of the day, from a variety of lessons learned, I truly started to see myself as a citizen of a world much bigger than tiny Singapore, and that every small step that I take continues to shape me into the person that I will be now and in the future.